It's Sunday night. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, and with me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght in Moose Jaw. Shawn, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, thanks, Gary.
Excellent. And I have Muffler Mike over in Connecticut. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. Soon we'll have Caden, and soon we'll have Pat, and we'll be discussing PLL galore. We have all kinds of news all over the place. NLL news, we have MSL, WLA, everything to deal with, as well as Western things going on. So just before we get rolling, just a reminder to everybody that all of our episodes are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram Live. You can remember to please subscribe, follow, and hit the like buttons. Always share. Please enjoy our affiliates across the Streampunk Entertainment Network, which includes Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, CFL Things, Soccer Galore, and a whole bunch more. And if you missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the shows on YouTube at Streampunk Sports, Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, or All Across all the time. And if you come to All Across all the time, please share. Please let everybody in on it, as well as you will get shorts, clips of all of our shows. You'll get retro games, interviews, our library of shows in its entirety, as well as a library of NLL lacrosse talk with some fabulous guests along the way there as well. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. Also, a reminder that our show is brought to you by 60. 60 is Canada's newest and most exciting sports uniform and teamwear brand, delivering top quality uniforms and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. Remember to add Lax Talk 10 to any and every order that you make with them for a 10% discount on your order. Now, you can check them out, first off, using the QR code on our screen. But other than that, you can go on to Instagram at sweet_60 and take a look at some of the great stuff that they have already manufactured. And you can also DM Jim over there. You can get a hold of Jim at his email at info.sweet60@gmail.com. or go right to their website at www.sweet60.ca/60. And again, remember, important now, Lax Talk 10. Put that on every one of your order, get an additional 10% off on some great stuff. I just saw Jim yesterday at the Argos game. He's one of the Argo alumni. And we were talking about things that were upcoming. And, of course, here's a look at some of the things we're talking about, but more so, we're looking, since it's summertime, at tees and tanks. And as we get that rolling, we will let you know. Come the fall, we're more into sweatshirts, hoodies, things like that. But stay tuned. We will have price points for you and all the rest of that. So fear not. A bit of news, major news out of the NLL. Well, no CBA yet, guys. Sorry. But problem one hath been solved. Breaking news out of Rochester has the Seneca Nation that has completed a purchase of the NLL's Rochester Nighthawks, keeping them in New York. The release was the National Lacrosse League announced a historic addition to its ownership group as the Seneca Nation, through its business arm Seneca Holdings, LLC, has officially acquired the Rochester Nighthawks. The move not only secures the future of professional lacrosse, box lacrosse in Rochester, but also represents a meaningful step forward in the league's ongoing commitment to its Indigenous heritage and long-term growth strategy. Major news. Now, a little bit more news that came out of Rochester is this. A 5-year lease to stay at the Blue Cross Arena. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon, y'all. Season tickets are now up for grabs. Go call the head office.
Excellent.
Big news.
Massive
Big
news.
news.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about Wegmans and things like that. This, I think, is even more compelling because it's right in with Indigenous heritage. Exactly what the league needs and what the league wants. It keeps one of the oldest franchises where it belongs in Rochester for the long term. So I think on every aspect, it wins. And so do we.
Absolutely.
100%,
And makes the league look good, taking it from a negative and putting it to a major positive just like that. And to me, that's spectacular. All right. A little bit more news is from the world of KUFLA, Canadian universities. It's almost that time, guys. It's almost fall. And the breaking news out of there is they announced their 2025 Getaway Cup location. And this time around, it is in the beautiful city of Brampton at the Terry Fox Stadium, which has just been redone and remodeled. So it is going to be a great time. Has a brand new state-of-the-art turf field that utilizes sand technology instead of those rubber pellets. Couldn't ask for a better facility for the athletes. That will be November 7th to 9th. Tickets are on sale starting August 30th. So you're going to want to get a hold of that one. It's going to be great. If it's anything like last year, wow. And last year we had all kinds of upsets. Remember, Mike? The number 1 and number 2 teams in the standings lost. Both of them lost in their semis. And we had two relatively newer programs to the championship level. So, and, friends of the show, with Queen's Gales, of course, is Brady and Connor Kiernan, who are head coach and defensive coach on those teams. So we have lots of ties there. And remember, we've had Tom Bolesky, who's the deputy commissioner, on the show. Scott Fox, who is a good friend of mine, as the commissioner. So there's going to be a lot of tinkering and changing and for the positive, and a lot more exposure this year and years to come. So stay tuned, because it's going to be an exciting time. We're starting to figure out how to keep the Canadian athletes in Canada to get their educations, which are much more affordable, but also just as equal to what they're getting in the U.S. as well. The lacrosse level is come up now as well. So field lacrosse in Canada has hit a feverish peak right now. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Righty. That being said, that brings us on to our wonderful, magnificent Premier Lacrosse League. And, why don't I bring Caden in so he can gloat? Hi, Caden.
You were saying all these wonderful things, and then I'm like, oh, he's just talking about me. He's seriously hyping me up. And then you said the PLL, and I'm like, damn. All right.
I love having you on here. You're talking about when you miss a show, a little part of me just cries.
Championships.
Jeez. Let me break out the violin.
You're our spark plug.
This team couldn't get a championship this year, so let's see my other New York team get one.
Well, before he gets a little too ahead of himself, I'll stick with you on the Atlas on this one. But
horns up, keep the faith.
We don't want to go too far now. But I got to congratulate you guys for kicking my butt all over the floor in this week's pick'ems, because for me to try and win this thing, I'm doing everything I can to not do it.
Hey, I still came back. I just want to.
Well, the only person who can catch me now through the playoffs, of course, is Caden. Mathematically still available.
It's going to be an interesting run, especially with the playoff matchups we have next week. So it's really a complete toss up. First of all,
they're actually 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, yeah, you're right.
The Outlaws are going to have a month off before they play.
That's
which is
insane.
crazy.
Absolutely.
We'll let them rust up a little bit. Maybe, just maybe they can get some of their sticks molded back into this shape of sticks, because a lot of them melted over the weekend. They were putting them in ice buckets. They were putting ice towels over top of them. Their shoes they were rubbing with ice water and things like that, because they were melting and the feet and the shoes were getting hot. That's the kind of problems we have. We don't have this problem in box. You don't really have to.
I wonder why.
Underneath with the ice there.
But 2 weeks is going to be very interesting. The only thing I'm upset about is Denver getting that number 1 overall seed by a singular goal. A singular goal.
Yeah.
They had the 18-17 on the score differential. But I feel like it's kind of the curse of being best in the league. Don't be the best in the league, or you might not win it unless your name is Buffalo. But we won't talk about that part.
No.
Like I said, Outlaws finished with a literal goal ahead of New York, but at least Atlas do in the East. They get the semifinal berth, so they're just, and kind of like the Outlaws, they're waiting a month to see their next opponent.
Well, Atlas did wait till the very end to have their worst defensive week all year. This was a crazy game. We'll get to that in a little bit, but man, if you want to see 40 goals, 39 goals, it's crazy, and they almost didn't make it. That was even crazier. So
it was very interesting, to say the least, that I'm just keeping an eye on the game and just see it continuously get closer and closer. Kind of worried me, but at the same time, I'm like, we have the berth. Are they really just holding out, or are they gonna,
Well, I said the same thing in the Argos game there, Shawn. It was a defensive struggle where they lost 46-42. It was a struggle to find defense. Period.
Yeah.
There was absolutely none there, and there was none.
Yeah,
in this
no one
game.
decided to play defense, not football
This
game.
whole weekend of PLL was very strange.
Mhm.
All one-goal games, but all massive scores. Well, until the very last one, of course. And Boston just kind of nailed that one in, but in front of their home fans, of all things.
And Gary, you mentioned the high scoring aspect and how this was probably one of New York's worst defensive halves of probably their entire year. That honestly, that especially that third quarter where Philly scored 8, that kind of really killed New York's chance of winning number 1. But again, it's grasping at straws to be angry at that, because they still came out, and I think that they came away as the best team in the league. The standings don't really say a thing. I think that New York still safely holds it. But damn you, Pat, and damn your water. I wanted first. I would have liked first. And then you had to score 8 in the third.
Save yourself, Pat. Come on now.
What the hell, Pat? I thought we had an agreement here.
We did. I didn't want to show up.
We got you in the playoffs.
Yes, they're in the playoffs.
That team does not deserve to be in the playoffs. They
But
stink.
Pat, you are looking at grabbing the Muffler Mike award.
Yes.
The Silver Sow, I believe it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we're not calling it the Sacco like the league.
Me. That's one thing about
I
being the
just
word.
paid my tribute to WKRP. We lost Lonnie Anderson this past week, so yeah, the Silver Sow from Les Nesman.
Silver Sow, yeah.
WKRP.
That works.
We're music and Les Nesman.
I'm just really disappointed in this team. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs. The head coach stinks. The defense stinks. I don't get it. I don't grasp it. What I saw on Saturday, you looked like you had everything going well for you. You were creating plays down low. You were scoring in transition, and then you committed 2 stupid penalties, which gave New York life. And then New York showed you, all right, I'm going to flip the switch on you, and we're not even going to have our star player like Jeff T even go off. We're going to go with Reed Browning and Zach, and Dickerson and all those other guys, and Brian Costable shooting from the outside, and then it became a little too hairy for this squad. And then again, where's the adjustment? Where's the timeout to slow things down? Okay, New York's building momentum. Why aren't we playing the timeout role? Let's let's restart. Let's get into a huddle. Let's come up with something. And no, Bill Carey just let things go totally off the radar, and Atlas looked really, really good. And I just, and again, the second half between the two teams was must-watch TV. I mean, going back and forth, I really enjoyed that part of it. But I'm like, the this defense just can't hold down a lead to save themselves, and now you're limping into the playoffs, and you're a one and done. Maryland's going to dump you, rolling your heads, and that's it. It's lights out from there.
Hey, I mean, at least you didn't get handed by Jeff Teat. You only got handed by Schellenberger this time.
Oh my gosh, I look at him play. I'm like, why can't I have him on my team? Why can't I have something like that on my team? Like that team, and all he had to do, and like first, he didn't even score at first. He really just like facilitate the ball. Here you go, Dickerson. Here you go, Reed Bowling. You're down low. And the one play that Reed Bowling made, man, just he was being guarded by two defenders down low, and he didn't have to look at the net. He just went goal. I'll just throw it on my shoulder. Goal. This will go in. Goal. Here. Dylan Ward, look over this way, you big dummy. Goal. I mean, it's just crazy.
Hey, Dylan Ward
I'm
did what
hoping
he
for the
could.
playoffs so Pat gets over his shyness on this.
Hashtag
I kind
trade
of want
Ward.
to pick Philadelphia despite Pat next week, but I mean 2 weeks. But I don't. I kind of am in the same boat. Is that loss does not. I wouldn't say it doesn't bode well, but a close loss like that to New York with 2 weeks of rest, a week of rest to go, and 2 weeks till play, it's going to be very, very interesting if Philadelphia can really pick up the loose pieces if they want a semblance of a chance to push for that semis.
Well, they
And
don't have to worry about their equipment melting anyways, because they're going to be in Minnesota. They might have to worry about snow.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, but and again, here we are shooting from the perimeter. Like, is this what we have to do when our backs are against the wall? Zach Kerr gets off to a 2-pointer. A Jack Freehill does it. From shooting from the perimeter. I'm like, why? Like again, they say in the broadcasting, it's one of the few teams that shoot from the perimeter. And then on Saturday against the team you don't want to commit fouls to, this is like one of the worst times. This team was nonstop committing fouls. I mean, if anything, you don't want to give that New York team any kind of life. I mean, they got guys who score 1 through 20. I mean, you don't want any. When you have your foot on the gas pedal, you just want to keep it going. You don't want to show any kind of life to that squad. They got guys, like I said, just absolutely phenomenal to watch. Yeah, it's going to be a tough ride for this Water Dogs team to really find themselves to get themselves off the canvas and go for the. Don't run with this.
Right. Let's go through these games. Anyway, so we had Boston and California opening it up on Friday evening, and California sneaks it out, 18-17. Hell of a game, eh?
Yeah, and I hate to make it sound like this deflated Boston, but I mean, maybe it just sucked the life out of them going into their second game on Saturday. They were down, they were down by as much as 5. The Cannons, twice actually, including early in the fourth quarter. They were down 17-12 and 5-goal run to tie the game, and then 1 goal over the last I'm not even sure, 4 or 5 minutes. And it was a doozy. Ryder Garnsey one-handed to give Redwoods the lead, and they punched their ticket to the playoffs. Lucky for them, as we'll get to in the next game. Chris Kavanaugh, 6 points. He had 4 goals and 2 assists. They got 4 goals each from Dylan Malloy and Aiden Denenza. Garnsey had a hat trick and an assist. Andrew McAdory, a goal and 3 assists, and his goal was maybe a little bit controversial there, behind the back that barely crossed the line. Charlie Bertrand, a goal and an assist. Brian Tevlin, a goal. T.D. Erlin, 21 of 35 on faceoffs and 12 ground balls.
Getting ready for the box.
Yeah. And then Chase Erlin, 10 saves, none bigger than the single save he made in the fourth quarter as time was running out to preserve the lead and the win. For the Cannons, they got 4 goals from Coulter Mackesy. They got 2 goals and an assist from Matt Campbell, 2 goals from Ryan Drenner, a goal and 3 assists from Asher Knowlton. Marcus Holman had a goal and a 2-point goal. Owen Grant had a goal and an assist. And then they got goals from Will Manny, Jeff Trainer, Jules Henningberg, Zach Tucci. Colin Kirst also 10 saves in the loss. So
I'm gonna put out the petition to send Charlie Bertrand back to the NLL. I love Charlie. I know he doesn't want to, but man, I love seeing Charlie succeed.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's definitely good to have that reserve scoring. But Redwoods are going to kind of need to keep up that kind of pace if they want to have a chance at advancing to the championship.
Oh man, you know what? I know we just I went off the rails about the Water Dogs. I'll tell you what though, I'd rather be a Water Dogs fan just thinking about not being a Boston Cannons fan. I mean, this is your weekend to get some PLL action in your back door. You lose 2 games and you're shown the exit, and that's your whole season in a nutshell. See you later. Don't come back.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Especially like you said, losing that first one, going into your second game, you're done now. Like,
where this was the ace up their sleeve most of the year, going, well, we have the 2 at home to end it.
yeah.
Well, that's good, right?
What I feel like is not even really talked about is just this massive collapse that Boston had. As the season went on, it just snowballed, and it felt like it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And to cap it off, to end this massive downhill snowball was getting swept at home or losing both at home. So, I mean, it's really rough for Boston. And the question comes is, what do they go with next year, especially with the start that they had? Because they were blitzkrieg. They were on fire to get the start of the season going. And then they just went cold.
Ice cold.
Ice cold.
Yeah.
Some may even say stone cold.
Absolutely. And you couldn't ask for a worse ending for them.
No.
You
couldn't script it worse for them. So,
is that a head coach private meeting with the GM saying what happened, what's going on with this team, or is it just? I mean, like you got Caden said it best. I mean, it was a snowball effect, and you think you beating the Water Dogs would kind of build some momentum, getting ready to play for your hometown, and nothing.
Well, what's even more concerning is the second game they had nothing.
Yeah,
they had life in the first game. They got it basically taken from them, but they had nothing in the second game. That's the one that is concerning, because it's as close to seeing a team quit as you can without them quitting.
Yeah.
You want to say as the season went on, it was kind of the same thing with Philadelphia. Did he just lose the locker room in that sense of the way? But it felt like in that last game, they just had no interest. It felt like Boston just literally had zero interest in that game. Like, yeah, we're here, we're playing, but it's like they didn't even want to win in front of their own fans. It's kind of at least send them home happy.
Yeah. Which is strange because the game was tied 7-7 at halftime. But,
which makes you wonder what happened at half.
Yeah.
What was said? What was
well, maybe we got to wonder what happened in the second half of the season, because this team was 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They went 1-5 over the final 6 weeks of the season.
Yep. Hence it being stone cold.
And that was with a bye.
And to end, and like we've been saying, and with the way to end with 2 games, like to at least get some semblance of.
You had your bye and your homecoming in the last 6 weeks. Sorry, you had your bye and your homecoming in the last 3 weeks of the season.
And
now,
1-5.
No team
swept
their home stuff, but this was the first one where they got swept. A team got swept at their home coming.
Not this season. A couple other teams did too.
Did they?
No one went 2-0 though.
Yeah.
No one went 2-0.
No.
Okay,
on their homecoming week. Everyone
Split.
split at best. But
Didn't
Redwoods, Cannons, Redwoods and Cannons definitely went 0-2, and I believe Archers went 0-2 on their weekend.
Okay.
I'll look that up. That does sound correct.
All right. Well, Utah has a reason, and even though they pulled out a win, when your heart and soul of the team goes down, and Tom Schreiber before the game was put on year-end injury reserve, which makes me wonder in Toronto if he's going to be around to sign autographs, and that's about it. Will they re-sign him so he can retire?
So Mike, Utah, Boston, and California all went 0-2 in their homecomings.
Everyone else split.
Which I can't believe we haven't even mentioned Utah for a team to go for 2 straight championships and then to lose both at home and then not even make.
They had a really tough time with injuries, though, because if you remember, for the first while, they had Dobson, who was not 100%. I'd say he wasn't 50% for a bunch of it, too. He finally got better, and then, of course, you lost Schreiber and a few other guys along the way, too. They
were never at 100%. And the broadcast team mentioned that. Matt Moore was lost earlier in the year for the whole year. Ament was in and out of the lineup. I'm trying to think of who else. And even at the dot, Sisselberger wasn't as effective. They had Jake Naso for a few games, but they didn't even activate him for this weekend. They ended up just kind of trying to do like a committee and, strategy. Strategy of just letting Justin Inacio, dominate and then trying to dispossess him, which may or may not have worked.
24. They didn't do very well.
Yeah, Inacio certainly had a good game. He went 20 of 24 on faceoffs. He grabbed 19 ground balls, which I haven't checked, but I have to think that's a PLL record for a game. I'd be shocked if it isn't.
Right. That team. That's one that won't be three-peating. There's 2 others that probably will. Well, Buffalo already has. Six Nations is looking pretty strong. As it's John Gertler and I were laughing about calling them the Six Nations Bandits. But
isn't there Ladner? Can't they three-peat at the Prezi? Or did they not?
Yes, they can.
That's another.
Can.
They're going to be up a tougher road than the others, though.
Yeah.
And they don't have quite the team they had the past years.
That key piece too.
Yeah, and they're nowhere near the team that they were when they won either of those championships.
Yeah, when they had NLL players.
NLL players, yeah.
Yeah, they're hurting from that, and a few other things, and we'll see. It'll be interesting, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Brooklyn is rolling.
Yeah, I'll give a quick rundown here. The Archers do win their final game of the season, 11-10 over the Chaos. It drops the Chaos to the number 3 seed in the West. They're 5-5, same as the Redwoods, and of course that's awful blowout loss to Whip Snakes earlier in the season hurt their goal differential overall. Mac O'Keefe, a goal, a 2-point goal, 2 assists for 5 points for the Archers. Ryan Ambler, 2 goals. Connor Fields had a goal and assist. And then they got a goal each from Sam King, Trey Leclerc, Connor Marr, Bryce Ford, Dyson Williams. Brett Dobson, 15 saves in net. For the Chaos, Jackson Eicher and Shane Knobloch each had 3 goals and an assist. Josh Sawada had 3 goals. Adam Charlambides with a goal. Owen Hiltz with an assist. Blaze Reardon, 10 saves in the loss. And they'll be playing Redwoods in 2 weeks.
Right. All right. We have the Atlas. We have the Atlas game against the Water Dogs. Caden, my question to you, we've talked about things have gone right. What went wrong?
The third quarter. I mean, the third quarter is what went
But what
wrong.
about the third quarter? What was the thing that absolutely, tore it down? Was it Entenmann not being his normal self? Because he really 39% save percentage through the game, only had 11 saves.
Yeah.
Or was it the defense collapse
I mean,
that we
you
saw
can
we
definitely
saw the
look,
week earlier in the second half?
and that collapse led to a loss. They're lucky it didn't lead to another loss. But I mean,
Which worries me because he
only
did this last year. Last year,
only
coming into playoffs, they had a great year going, and they played their worst games heading into the playoffs and in the playoffs, and hence they did not win.
Yeah.
But though I sobbed myself to sleep because they should have won.
So I mean, to start, 8 caused turnovers. I mean, again, it's great, but you definitely want to see more, especially from a team that is more or less known for this defensive style that they run with great defensive players like Makar, like Logan, like Adler. So I mean, it's the caused turnovers is an issue, but like you said, it just felt like something was wrong with Liam this week, and we hope, or at least I hope, that he can get that bug off his shoulder, that monkey off his back going in, because he's got 2 weeks of rest, which is good. But I do want to talk about something that Mike had mentioned with Sisselberger scoring not with Sisselberger, with Charlene Beatty scoring, and we talked about it previously in previous weeks about if Maryland's going to move on, and if they're going to do anything, it's got to be on the back of Adam Charlambides. I mean, Carolina. It's going to be on the back of Adam Charlambides. Or at least it's got to be a lead point from Charlambides. And this last week really kind of gives him a lot of hope going into the playoffs. That he can at least lead him to a semis. But it can't be all in the back of Charlambides.
I'll agree with that.
And for me, again, Gary, you're asking like what went wrong. I think this was Philly just playing desperate, and Mike Sauer said it best heading into the locker room. Like their backs are literally are up against the wall. Like they are going to play. They're going to ball out here, and for them to start in the second half shooting from the perimeter, start trying to put that New York defense off balance and trying to, I think Connor somebody it could have been Jimmy Freehill who whipped it from the perimeter with like at 100 miles an hour or something. But this was their best punch to New York, and I mean physically, Philly was trying to take some dirty shots, trying to get in their heads. This was Philly's way of saying, trying to throw them off physically, mentally. They were trying to get in the heads of New York. And Liam Enterman, I don't think there's going to be a problem with him moving forward because his track record, this is where he plays his best lacrosse, because when it comes championship time, he's a different beast. And I know it's a different animal dealing with the NCAA, but I've seen him in 2 championship games live, and that dude can play. And I don't think New York's going to have a problem in their backfield. It was just this was desperate times for Bill Tierney and this Water Dog team.
Was it a mistake putting Dylan Ward in net?
No. No. After Matt DeLuca kind of wrote off that he's going to be your backup. No, because I mean, again, this is the time for this team that the Bostons of the world who've been struggling, the Maryland's of the team that have been strong. This was an opportunity for him to kind of say that I'm going to be your lead. I'm going to be your lead guy heading in against New York, and him kind of get lost in the shuffle. No,
So you keep going with Ward in the playoffs?
I would.
I think so. I mean, I think. Sorry, Pat. I think this is going to be another shootout, Water Dogs and Whip Snakes, because I'm not sold on. I mean, look, Emmett Carroll had a great game against Boston, but again, I think that was also more Boston running out of gas and running out of morale.
Right.
I haven't been sold on the Whip Snakes goaltending all season.
You haven't been sold on Maryland at all. Not even just the goaltending, but just Maryland in general. And I kind of have to agree, not just with the goaltending, but
They
they've just been.
struggled. The offense has been up and down. The defense has not been nearly as stifling and effective.
They
I
have
think
been.
this is a team that the Water Dogs are going to match up very well with.
Yes.
And I guess maybe I'm formulating that because I haven't seen injury problems. It'd be a whole different perspective if guys like Ajax Zapatello and Matt Dunn were in and out of the lineup all year, but they weren't.
Yeah.
And this team still finished 4-6 and pretty much had to beat a demoralized Boston team on the back end of a doubleheader to get in to the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, Maryland was
Yeah.
so flip-flop this entire season. So going into a one and done, it's really hard to back them. But you could see the same frustrations as from Pat because, I mean, he's our Water Dogs guy here, and he doesn't think they should be there. And in some cases, I would agree. They legitimately snuck in on the whim of God, it felt like.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, like if Maryland again now might have a little bit of momentum, even though they've called a team that was out of gas, but all right, well, all they have to really do for me, if I'm Maryland, you shut down CJ Kurse, you shut down Michael Sowers. What does Philly really have to answer with? Because then it's the role players, the secondary scoring that needs to step up. Cameron McCardle has been inconsistent since CJ Kurse has been fully back into the lineup, and I don't know if he knows his role. There's Jack Hannon that needs to be more of a goal, a shooting option, and Jake Taylor himself that needs to be a scoring option.
And then you can't even forget the idea of Michael Sowers. I mean, if they're going to win, Sowers has to be on top of his game more than he's ever been this entire season. This is like, I wouldn't say it's make or break, but this is the chance
to be successful. Sorry, Ken. I would say that they would have to have their defense to be as tight as could be.
Mm-hmm.
Carroll
They
is
also
good
have
when he
to-
doesn't face a lot of shots. If he's going to face a shooting gallery, and with guys like CJ Kurse, Mike Sowers, and a number of other guys firing from everywhere, that's not going to be the case unless Maryland's defense locks down.
And another thing that if Maryland wants to come away with the win, and I want to build off of you, Gary, is if Maryland wants to come away with the win, not only does their defense have to be on top notch, but they have to come away with 75% of the faceoffs, or at least 70% of the faceoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this Atlas game. Atlas came away with 71.1%, winning 27 faceoffs over Philadelphia. That extra possessions is what potentially won them the game, especially with that huge second half collapse. But getting those extra possessions off the faceoff, thanks to Baptiste, gave the Atlas the win. It felt like that if Maryland's going to do that, they need
Nardella. That's a pretty
I was saying Nardella, you can do that for sure.
They need Nardella to be on top of his game, and with him being the second best faceoff guy in the PLL, next to Trevor Baptiste, and that could even be argued that he is the best faceoff guy in the PLL. This is a really, really high chance for Maryland to pick it away, especially like you said, Gary, if their defense locks in and if they can come away with 65 to 70% of the faceoffs over Philadelphia.
And you can almost flip it. I was going to say, sorry, you could almost flip it too in the other side because you're going up against Jordan Nardella, where we said, he could very well win 70% of those faceoffs. Maybe for the Water Dogs, you may need your defense to step up, knowing that more than likely Maryland's going to get those extra possessions.
And to piggyback off you guys, I mean, like Caden just said, look at that Atlas, right? Look at the Atlas. During that stretch, it was 11 minutes they were in possession of the ball because of Travis Baptiste, and those 11 minutes they put up. I mean, they went on a run for six straight goals. And again, if you got the second best faceoff, and then you're in pretty much good hands because if you keep the ball and away from Philly and you can possess it, and then if you can mix in So getting down low and doing dirty. And listen, and Mike Sowers, his offense is kind of the same. It's get behind the opposing net and then trying to see if someone's going to try to score in transition, trying to get open. Their playbook is just, to me, is vanilla. It's nothing that wows me at all. Now, when they mix in, like I said, shooting from the perimeter, okay, now I got to guard a Curry from the outside. But if he's not, if they're all trying to make ESPN highlight moves, it's kind of boring, and defenses are going to pick up on it right away.
I mean, Pat, something you talked about a lot this season with Philadelphia is their inability to score from the 2-point from behind the 2-point line, and they had 2 this game.
Yeah,
where was that this whole season?
Yeah.
But on top of that, you mentioned possession, and I'll continue to look back at this Atlas game, and I mentioned faceoffs and how the Atlas won 70% of the faceoffs, but the possession was so incredibly close. It was off by 58 seconds. Atlas held it for 22 minutes and 6 seconds, while Philadelphia held for 21 and 8.
I was surprised.
The possession was that close, and that just shows how much those faceoffs matter. Because if Philadelphia wins, say, 10% more, they potentially hold possession. They potentially win the game.
Right.
Yeah. And building off that, I mean, I think you're going to get a better game out of Alex Stathakis 2 weeks from now than you did. Yeah. Even going up against Nardella. And I just want to point something else out. I mean, not that it means much for a one and done playoff game, but looking at all 6 of the Water Dogs losses, because goal differential was in play here to get them in the playoffs. In their 6 losses, they had an 8-point loss to Atlas, and then the rest were 3 goals or less. 2 3-goal losses, a 2-goal loss, and 2 1-goal losses, including that overtime loss to Chaos. So it's not like they haven't been keeping, just like they did last year when they were on the wrong end of 5 or 6 1-goal games, 3 being in overtime. They're still keeping games close, with the exception of that one outlier.
Yeah.
So it's just, you got to find a way to win those close games.
Well, you do, and this is where I need Mr. Tierney to get on it, and don't just call out one player. You know what I mean? This is where he needs to show me. I get it. They praise him in the oh, he's a Hall of Famer, head coach. All right, yeah. I need you to dial something up there, bud. I need you to lock down and finish this game, and I need someone to come else, because if they decide to put Mike Sowers in a double coverage, and CJ Kurtz they got blocked off, I need someone else. I need a Caden McCarr I can rely that he's going to consistently be that every day, like I said, a turn from a secondary scorer. Now I need to figure he needs to be your primary scorer, or a Hannah or a Taylor. I need someone else to come through, or Curry, because Curry seems like to be your lethal weapon from the perimeter. But I mean, again, I don't want to keep on beating on that. I just need to see this team just trying to keep Maryland off balance, because Maryland's getting, like I said, a little momentum, beat up on Boston. They did beat up on Philly, I think, a couple weeks back, if I'm not mistaken. So they know how to beat this squad. And I believe it was Maryland. I don't want to say the Chaos. I believe it was Maryland who kind of took their own formula away from them and was shooting for, doing what Philly did, but, duplicated it even a little bit better.
Yeah.
Pat, it's crazy how last week, I feel like both you and I were kind of writing off Bill Tierney, especially after he calls out literally his entire team. And I mean, I made the Pete DeBoer comparison about how when he called out Ottinger, like shortly after he was canned from Dallas, and I kind of felt like the same thing was in the works for Tierney in Philadelphia. And apparently it worked. He calls out only one player, and the entire team picks it up to sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah. You're right. Look, listen, they did a good enough job to limp into the playoffs. that, I don't know if you've seen like these like movies where guys are coming out of like a hole, bruised, battered, dirt faces, a fire just went off in the background. Like that's Philly walking into the playoffs, and to me, again. Now, like I said, I know Philly's going to be rejuvenated now, kind of restarting. This is a nice little break for them. But don't forget, like, you can't keep your eyes off TJ Malone either. Like, that kid's a scorer, too. I'm like, yeah, so Maryland's going to be walking in with just as much amp as Philly. So, yeah, it should be a good game to watch, though, overall.
100%.
Absolutely.
Now, if they lose, you may not see me on for the post game interview because by then I'll be losing my hair and I'll be eating kitty litter by then.
Remember, that all takes place in 2 weeks, August 23rd, which is also this is going to be big. It's going to be big.
I'm gonna pray for a Maryland win for my birthday. Celebrate my birthday watching a great amount of lacrosse.
Absolutely.
Can't back you, Pat. I know I like to bark with the water dogs.
No, there won't be no barking.
There's not going to be no barking this week or 2 weeks.
No, not at all. I'll be meowing at this point. So
just get your wings ready.
Yes,
start getting ready to fly.
Yeah, I will be by then. I'll be on Paul Day mode by then. I'll be ready to fly.
Well, let's hope by next week we have a CBA, so we have some free agency and we have a few other things going on there as well.
Yes.
It's about percentage points now, so let's get it done. Simple. All righty. Thanks, guys. Another great week.
Gents.
Yeah,
well, listen, go Maryland, and I'll catch you guys in 2 weeks.
All right. Have a great one, Pat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, brother.
As always, baby.
A lot of excitement for the Atlas going forward. I mean, I praised a lot about how they physically are the best team in the league besides Denver. And I mean, literally a goal separates them from top of the league. So, I mean, I think I'm in a correct position in making my statement, but it's great to see production from all over this lineup. I mean, we talked a lot about how Jeff Teat cannot be the primary scorer. And then Connor Schellenberger said, here, hold my beer. Schellenberger came out with 46 points, 23 goals, 23 assists. I mean, if he's not MVP, I'm giving it to Liam Entenmann. And I'm not trying to be biased, but I'm absolutely trying to be biased because without Entenmann and without Schellenberger, New York's not in this spot.
Not at all.
Because Teat had a relatively down year, 40 points, 17 goals, 23 assists. But on top of that, there was only one other 20-point scorer or 22-goal scorer, and that was Xander. Like, yeah, your three attackmen are getting around 15-plus goals, which is great. But other than that, Matt Traynor ended with 20 points, 12 goals, and 8 assists for his rookie year, which I absolutely love to see. And I can definitely see him continuing that production going into a deep playoff run. But on top of that, Pat mentioned Kostiuk earlier in the show. Kostiuk was the leader for 2-point goals in New York this year. He had 3 of them, ending with 23 points, 13 goals. So, I mean, a lot of production around the lineup, but like I said, without Entenmann or without Schellenberger, New York's not in this position.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. We'll see if they can put it all together and keep it rolling in the playoffs, which has been their kryptonite over the last couple of years.
It's time. It's time for them to break that kryptonite, for them to break their weakness, and for them to finally hold horns up with the championship.
Absolutely.
And like Mike Tagg says, horns up, let's ride.
All righty. Looking forward to seeing you celebrating in 2 weeks' time.
Let's go! Please!
Absolutely.
Have a good one, guys.
Take care, Caden. Thank you as
Caden.
always. All righty. That's the PLL the way we knew it. Why don't we jump over to some Western stuff and Now, Shawn, take that away, and we'll get ourselves into the box lacrosse scene.
Yeah, you bet. I guess we can start with BC Junior A, and the Coquitlam Madnax are going to return back to the Minto Cup. When we left off, the next we're up 2 games, 2-1. And then on the 5th, Victoria was able to tie up the series 2-2 with a 7-3 win. Then on the 7th, Coquitlam came back with a 9-5 win to go up 3 games, 2-2. And then they finished off the series in game 6 with a 12-6 win. So again, really strong program they got there. We'll wait and see how they match up against the East when they make it to the Minto. I know there's a lot of teams that are going to be hungry as well there, Gary. But I mean, they've got a good lineup, and I definitely would not count that squad out.
Right.
And over in Junior A, in the Alberta League, we had the Calgary Mounties and the Calgary Raiders. Mounties were up 3-1 when we last left off. And boy, the Raiders made a comeback. Thursday, they won 6-5 to narrow the series. Then yesterday, they won 7-6, and they sent that game to Game 7, which I'm just going to see if we have an updated score yet. We do not, but after 2, I can tell you that the Mounties were ahead 4-3 in Game 7 of that. So either way, that could go for that spot in the Minto. Then over in Senior B in Alberta, you had the Miners and the Mounties up, with the Miners up 2-0 in the best of 5. And on Friday, Game 3, the Miners took a 13-5 win, so they are heading back to the President's Cup with a 3-0 series sweep there. And in BC Senior B, which we were just talking about Ladner, they were up against the Victoria Shamrocks, and Ladner was up 2-0 when we left off. And Game 3, Ladner won 8-4. So they also swept that series. So we know that Edmonton Miners and the Ladner Pioneers will be off to the President's
Over
Cup.
here in Brooklyn, yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be an interesting time there, too. I'm hearing all the plans for the President's Cup. If you're anywhere in the area, you're going to want to attend. It's going to be a great time over at the Iroquois Sports Arena. It's going to be excellent. Well run. So, in Ontario Junior, wow. What a series. Orangeville and Whitby. And every home team's won so far. It is 3-2 for Orangeville right now, with Game 6 set for tomorrow evening over in at the Iroquois Park Sports Center in Whitby. But each one of these games, with the exception of the beginning, even the beginning, Orangeville and Whitby, last week they had Game 1 7-6. Game 2, Whitby made a statement 10-5. Game 3, Orangeville came back, won 9-8 in overtime. And here are the 2 ones that are strange. You have all this firepower on both sides. Now, people in Buffalo should be elated to hear this. Whitby won on Friday 4-3 in overtime. Yesterday, Orangeville won in Orangeville 4-3 in regulation time. Who was the goaltender for Orangeville? Evan Konstantopoulos. Buffalo Bandits.
Okay.
Oh.
So is there a goaltender in waiting? Yep. Orleman and Konstantopoulos is going to be a big pair too. Whenever Matt Vince decides that he's had enough.
Yep.
So I will have Steve Dietrich on the show, on the other show, end of this month. So I believe in 2 weeks. So this should be interesting. Talking to him about him and a number of other things going on. But yeah, this has been a hell of a series. A defensive struggle. If there's a name that stands out for me on either side is Trey Deer, who made a big name last year for Orangeville, and again is having a great playoffs. And over for Whitby is Max Weatherup, who has been getting some call-ups to senior, but really is having a great summer for Whitby. So this is going to be interesting. Now moving on to Ontario Series Lacrosse. The beginning of the week we had our Game 5, deciding game between Hamilton and the Six Nations Rivermen. And what a game, man. I was there, chicken wrap and all, Mike. Like chicken wraps for the whole family, Toot la gang. Great game. It looked for a while that Six Nations was going to run away with it. They were up 7-3 at one point in the second period. But Hamilton fought back, kept going. At one point, it was 7-6. And Six Nations just had the horses. And they wound up pulling it out 10-8. So they are now in the finals with Brooklyn. And game 1 of that series happened yesterday. And, for about 30 minutes, this was a very, very tight defensive game. In fact, it was 2-1 for Brooklyn after the first period. And in fact, Six Nations got on the board first with Thunderhill scoring. Parker Pfeiffer had tied it up. But, Alex Marini had tied it up. But absolute howitzer from over the restraining line changed this game a little bit. It was 2-1 for Brooklyn after one. Six Nations ties it. It's 2-2. Brooklyn goes ahead 3-2. Six Nation ties it 3-3. From that point on, the Brooklyn defense and Deacon not in net steps up. No more goals. That's it for Six Nations for the evening. It was 6-3 for Brooklyn after 2. And they put it into another gear altogether in the third period, scoring 5 unanswered goals, including 2 power play goals and 1 semi-empty net goal, as Belanger was diving back in to try and get back into net. But don't know why you're pulling your goalie when you're down by 7, but whatever. Anyways, 11-3 was your final for Brooklyn. Now, why is this important? Because of the OLA festival, Game 1 should have been in Brooklyn. But because of the festival in there and all the tournaments that are there, there was no floor time. So Six Nations took Game 1 at home, which means now Game 2 of this best 2 out of 3 series is now in Brooklyn, Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. If you are anywhere in the area, come say hi because I will be there. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a hell of a game, too. If there's a Game 3, that will be Sunday over at the ILA. But Game 2 with Brooklyn up 1-0, going to be in Whitby to try and finish this off. Mind you, both teams are going to the President's Cup. So whatever starts here will continue in the President's Cup 2 weeks from now. It's going to be an interesting time. So buckle up. This is going to be a lot of fun. Also, Daryl Smart has been putting games on his YouTube channel, Daryl Smart Media. So please give that a look on game day. If you're not able to make it, you will be able to see it. He's also been putting Chiefs games on. And Steven Stamp on Stamp Lax has been putting on the Peterborough Brooklyn games on his YouTube station. So give that a look. So every game free that you can catch. No excuses. Great lacrosse. You will see why I love summer ball more than I love winter ball. Because of the style of play. It's much more aggressive. It's much more freeing. And you're going to see an awful lot more hitting than you will in the NLL. That being said, why don't we get on over to the West for WLA? We have finalists, do we not?
Actually, before we get to that, Gary, I got an update out of Alberta in the junior A's, and you couldn't script this any better. Game 7 after regulation, 5-5.
Wow.
We head to overtime. The Raiders score 2 in overtime to win it 7-5. They have won 3 straight to take out the Mounties, and they're heading to the Minto.
Wow. Wow. Look out. Minto is in a week and a half. It's all coming now. Hang on tight. So this is going to be fun. Not this week, next week. And hold on tight in St. Catharines. It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Excellent. All right, let's get to some WLA action. I do have a black armband I'm wearing.
That was that was a great series. To be fair,
for those of you who don't know, the guys were worried about me after Victoria lost.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start on Tuesday. Salmon Bellies take a 11-7 overtime win over Victoria to take the 2-1 series lead in the best of 5. And man, Shamrocks are up 7-4 early in the third, and the Salmon Bellies score 3 straight, including 2 with the extra attacker, to send it to overtime, and then collapse in overtime, giving up 4 goals because, of course, again, WLA overtime is not sudden death. Probably Victoria wished it was sudden death.
It was. Each goal killed a little bit further.
Yeah, for the 7-11 win for the Salmon Bellies. 4 goals, 3 assists by Mitch Jones. Hayden Dixon with a hat trick. He had 2 goals, 3 assists from Tyler Pace. Ty Kurtz with a goal and 4 assists. A goal and 4 assists from Will Malcolm. In goal, Frank Giuliano 42 saves with 49 shots. For Victoria, hat trick from Andrew Q, 3 goals and 2 assists. Marshall King, a goal and 2 assists. Jesse King, a goal and 2 assists, and he also had a goal from Kyle Pepper and Zach Mans in this one.
All right. We had the Coquitlam series as well going on simultaneously.
Wednesday night, I think it was. So Maple Ridge avoids elimination with a 9-7 win in Game 3 to make it a 2-1 series. This game was tied 5-5 after 2 periods, but Maple Ridge outscored Coquitlam 4-2 in the final period for the win. They got 2 goals and an assist each from Dagan Carlson and Dylan McIntosh. Marcus Klarich, a goal and 4 assists. Riley Lowen, a goal and 3 assists. Declan Fitzpatrick, a goal and 2 assists. Brandon Humphrey, 41 saves for the Burrards. For Coquitlam, Jalen Chaster, a hat trick and an assist. Key Moon had a goal and 2 assists. James Ray and Denon Armstrong, a goal and an assist each. Clark Walter had a goal, and they got 2 assists each from Brett McIntyre and David Charney. Christian Del Bianco, 35 saves.
All right. That brings us over to the death blow to Victoria.
Yeah, Game 4, and
they played as good as Boston.
I would like to know what happened to the Shamrocks offense in this one. They just went.
They played as good as the Boston Cannons in their last game.
Yeah, silent. I mean, they were down 8-2 after 2 periods, and I mean, that was pretty much all she wrote. It was 4-4 in the third period to make it 12-6. So New Westminster moves on to the final. And just to make a point here, what a year for Frank Giuliano. goaltender of the year in the NLL final, WLA final, and if he makes it through WLA final, his second Man Cup in 4 years with 2 different teams. Tell me again how this guy can't win.
Absolutely.
True. Alrighty. Back to you, Mike. Tell us how the Coquitlam thing finished.
Yeah. I guess the same question that's asked of the Victoria offense could be asked of the Maple Ridge defense. Coquitlam wins game 4, 10-7 to win the series 3-1. Here's the thing. After 2 periods, Maple Ridge was up 6-2. They were then outscored 8-1 in the 3rd period. So for the Adnax, Keen Moon, 2 goals, 4 assists. Clark Walter had 2 goals and an assist. James Ray had a pair of goals. Goal and an assist from Adam Noakes. 2 assists each from Jalen Chaster, David Charney, and Jake Saunders. Del Bianco, 37 saves in the win. For Maple Ridge, again, 1 goal in the 3rd period after being up 6-2. Dylan McIntosh, hat trick, 3 assists. Marcus Clarich had 2 and 2. Peyton Cormier, a goal and 2 assists. Riley Lowen had a goal, an assist each from Reese Porteous, Dagan Carlson, Reese Barnes, and Brandon Humphrey made 44 saves. So Coquitlam moving on, keeping their dream of becoming the 4th city ever to do the double, the Man Minto, in the same year.
Yeah.
I think the only other cities to have done it are New West, Peterborough, and Six Nations.
That is correct. And this is the best of 7 series as opposed to a best of 5 that we just got out of. Starting Tuesday night over New West with the Adnax facing the Salmon Bellies. So it's going to be an excellent series.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We will be right on top of it with everything. So this is going to be great. We have had some crazy stuff going on in the MSL, though. The one that was, pretty much foregone conclusion. We expected Six Nations to sweep Owen Sound, but Owen Sound, for a team that's only really been in the league 2 years, I give a lot of credit to Steve McCarthy and the team that he has put together and the coaching staff of Adam Jones as head coach, etc. These guys are learning how to win and learning how to compete hard because they took Six Nations, and though the scores are not indicative of the final scores, they took them to task in almost every game. For example, I would go with Tuesday's game in which the Six Nations Chiefs won 12-9. However, for the longest point of the 3rd period, it was 9-8 Owen Sound. And you have such a strong lineup with the Chiefs that they can go off, and they did 3 goals in about 2 minutes. And that changed the game. 4 goals in just over 2 minutes. And they changed the game from 9-8 to 12-8. Just like that. Bang. When they wanted to put on for the whole game, they made an emphatic statement yesterday, taking Owen Sound. It was 5-4 after 1. After that, it was not close. It was 9-3 for Six Nations the rest of the way, as Six Nations advances 4-0 to the final, and they'll be waiting for the winner of the Brooklyn-Peterborough series. Of note, of course, the MVP of the MSL this year was Jackson Webster of Owen Sound, and he was the bright spark in this game, having a hat trick and an assist as well. Where do you start with Six Nations? Dane Smith had a 4-goal, 4-assist day. Lyle Thompson with a hat trick. Ryan Smith with a couple. Shane Jackson with a hat trick. Steve Priolo with a pair in transition. It doesn't matter where you're gonna point to, and somebody different is doing it every single night. But on a team, when I was talking with Rich Kilwer when I was in Buffalo a couple of weeks ago, and when he was bringing up, I never gave Ryan Smith the credit he deserves, because when you have a team that is this talented and you're still scoring a hat trick just about every game, it says something about you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're not seeing Josh Burns score like that. He is getting the assist across, but you're not seeing him get freed up like he does in the NLL. And the rules, like I'd mentioned, have a lot to do with that, where guys can be a little bit more on top of him. Dane Smith, on the other hand, holy smokes. Wow. Doing exactly what he did in Buffalo with Six Nations. And then when you have transition of everything from Tim Edwards to Justin Martin to Steve Priolo, I can list 8 of them if you want. The guys that are healthy scratches could form an all-star team. It's incredible, this team. The point that I was making with you guys last week is, okay, let's say you put together the game of your year and you're able to beat them. Now, can you do that 3 more times in this series? Let alone putting it together for 60 whole minutes. Because if you take 3 minutes off, they're going to make you pay with 4 goals. That's daunting. Just coming into the game knowing that. But we'll see how that goes. The other series, though, when we left off last week, Peterborough was up 2-0 just after a 10-8 victory in Brooklyn, in which Brooklyn had to lead a few times, and then the third period went the way of Peterborough. However, we start with Monday night, and Brooklyn shuts down the Peterborough offense altogether. They allow Peterborough 4 goals in the second period, and that's it. Nothing in the first, nothing in the third. They come away with a 7-4 victory. Steve Orleman was in net for that game and looked spectacular. They turn around a couple of days later, Wednesday night, and again, Orleman is in net. And this time around, Peterborough jumps out to a 5-2 lead after the first period, and were more on a mission, much more composed than they were a couple of nights earlier. However, enter Connor Kiernan with the game of his life in MSL. Scored 6 goals in this game, guys. Had another couple of assists to go with it. It was they got 6 goals in the second, changing things around. It was 8-8 going into the third period. Brooklyn took over this game altogether. They outscored Peterborough 7-1 in the third period, winning this game 15-9, tying up the series. Whole new bowl of wax now. 2 games apiece. We move to the next night in Peterborough. And what looked like it was going to be a defensive struggle. It was 1-1 after 1, with Holden Catoni and Ryan Barnable getting goals. Brooklyn opened up a 6-4 lead after 2. Again, Barnable, Will McLeod, Connor Kiernan looking great over for Brooklyn. Braden Saris looked great for Peterborough, as well as Thomas Hogarth. In fact, a couple of goals from Braden Saris and one from Holden Catoni tied this thing up at 7, and we needed overtime. Now, back and forth in overtime for almost just over 7 minutes. Will McLeod fires a screenshot, more of a prayer than anything else, that gets past his defenseman and gets past the outstretched leg of Nick Rose, and ding, into the corner it went. Brooklyn is now leading this series 3-2, with the next game being, Wednesday night in Brooklyn. Remember, the festival going on, no floor time. So the teams have basically a week to get back, and whoever's hurt to get back in. Might help Brady Kiernan get back in the lineup, who's been nursing an ankle injury he suffered last Saturday. So we'll see, because he's been a big part of that offense as well. But Zach Higgins was in net for that game, in which Peterborough lost in overtime and looked stellar. So this is going to be a hell of a series. This will most likely go 7. But, the way Brooklyn has been playing, they seem to be rolling right now. And Peterborough, if they're going to play undisciplined and take penalties, that will be their demise. Also, not having Jake Withers for a couple of those games due to work commitments also hurt when you don't have a guy who is going to be competent. Bo Columbus is looking great on faceoffs for Brooklyn. So that's the only series left there. So I'm busy in Whitby this week, between the Merchants and the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. Might as well just get a room out there.
Yep. And Higgins could do the same thing Chiliano's trying to do too.
Yeah. With
that, with 2 man cups in 4 years.
Yeah.
With 2 different teams.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. But that is the week that was. Heck of a week, man. Love this time of year.
Yeah.
Playoff lacrosse is spectacular. Summer ball is just, there's nothing that can compare and beat it. From junior right through until major series and WLA is absolutely spectacular. And the President's Cup will not disappoint either. I guarantee it. Anyway, just a reminder to everybody that we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter X, we are on Instagram, we are on Thread, we are on YouTube. Tell one, tell all. Come back 3, 4, 5 times a day. The news is always changing. We are always up to date with all of our recaps of the games. If there's anything you need to know from a game, from a player, from a thing, we are your one-stop shop. We are your Costco of lacrosse. Always with our fingers on the pulse of the situation. Always with our ears to the grindstone and calling our sources to make sure that we have the news correct. Big thing. Always making sure we have the news correct. Anyways, that brings us over to last words. Shawn, let's start with you this week.
Really looking forward to this WLA final. I think it's going to be excellent. And, both teams are coming off a grueling series. I don't think anyone saw Maple Ridge really giving it to Coquitlam like they did and really giving them a series. And then, of course, that new Westminster Victoria series was all we kind of hyped it up to be. I mean, we really knew that was going to be a fantastic series. So it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out.
Absolutely. Mike, last words to you.
I'm looking to see if Brooklyn can pull off an upset here against Peterborough, because it really would be an upset. Brooklyn's Six Nations final would definitely be interesting in major series. And then, of course, the Minto Cup looks to be outstanding with 3 of the 4 teams already decided. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to the game 6 in the Whitby Orangeville series, because it's just been so great. All these guys who are on the cusp of NLL stardom, it's going to be amazing. And of course, all the stuff that's going on in Brooklyn right now, Whitby, is going to be also quite insane / incredible. Great series all over the place. Great series. And it's only going to get better. Between the Minto, the President, and the Man, the best is yet to come. And it's not just figuratively that we're saying that. It's going to be spectacular this year. And look out. The upset thing is in the air. So all kinds of crazy things are still apt to happen. But anyways, remember to stick with us each and every week. Sunday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern. And we will get you everything you need and more. So for Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw, for Muffler Mike over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, reminding you to keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher. And until we meet again next week, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, have a great week, everybody. Take care.